Good evening, everyone. I'd like to go ahead and call the Munster Town Council meeting, our regular meeting here for October 21st. And I'll ask our clerk treasurer to please call the roll.
Councilor Schinkin.
Here.
Councilor Hopper.
Here.
Councilor Gardner.
Present.
Councilor Peterson.
Here.
Councilor Nellens.
Present.
Five are here.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to ask you to please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This takes us up to our open to the public. We do have a list of regulations on the outside as to how this
We're also promised landscaping, and that's not there either. So in general, we feel neglected and believe that we need help in getting the NICTD cooperation or from the town of Munster to help us to get what we need. So along with me and my co-chair, we also have other members who live on the street. There we go. And just to show you that this is a small group, but we're going to be a large group soon, trying to get something done. So our concern is, once again, there's a safety fence, worried about children playing on tracks, and we all want resolution of the safety issue. So Chris, would you like to add?
We do have a couple of families with small children living in the condo buildings that border right up against the railroad tracks. And I'd hate to see the city come into liability, or we come into liability because they accessed it from our property or, you know, the adjacent city property. It really is a safety concern that needs addressed with the new infrastructure in the town. It's just a difficult situation that we're asking for your help with.
All righty, thank you very much.
Okay.
We will be working on that.
I would ask the residents, that should, I appreciate you commenting and going to NICTD and asking them, but this is a town of Munster responsibility. We should have council, or our staff people should be the ones talking to NICTD. It's not the residents' responsibility to talk to NICTD. It's our responsibility to follow up on these complaints
Yes, it is.
and these concerns. So Certainly, thank you very much, and if we don't get back to you within the next week, my number is 708-606-7223. Give
Plus, it's in the news you can use.
Yes.
Again,
606-7223.
okay. And you're also all welcome to come and see the problem.
Well, I know we met with you last, two years ago, and yes, we have that paperwork and we have that documentation. We need to follow up on this.
Okay. Thank you
All right.
very much. Well, do you want to come back? Okay.
My name is Mark Maluga. I live at 8445 Manor Avenue on the fourth floor, and my unit faces the track. So I was out there looking today. Every other property or space has a fence between the track and the property except 8421 and 8445 Manor. And there's also different types of fencing. It's not consistent. So there's a chain link fence on the trail along the opposite to 8445. And the chain link fence is very short. It's not very protective. And then the fencing going from Ridge Road to the platform is another type of fencing. I think it's the same fencing that's around the parking lot. It's not protective. Things can jump over, things can go into it. If there's an accident, someone's gonna veer very easily into the track. So we need to talk to the South Shore about consistency in fencing and self-absorbing fencing, which the huge apartment complex just south of 8445 has that protective fencing going all the way to Fisher. But why 8421 and 8445 was left out of that is a mystery. That's it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We will follow up
Yeah.
on that. Thank you. Anyone else would like to come forward in the open to the public section? I'll ask another time. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward in the open to the public session? This would be the opportunity to do that. Seeing no one, we will close it to the floor. Miss, do you have any?
I do. We had 7 emails from 3 unique email addresses, and all of them were in favor of keeping Ridge Road 5 lanes and vote for alternative 2, which we did in the last meeting.
Thank you.
Some trouble with the people online cannot hear tonight's meeting, and we're trying to troubleshoot while we're doing this. My apologies for our.
So then, before we move on to the consent agenda, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce our new Director of Operations, Dr. Wood.
Welcome back. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
He comes to us with 25 years of experience from a neighboring community. And he's got a lot of good experience. It's going to do a lot of good for Munster.
Thank you. Very good. Look
I'll
forward
get
to
a hold of us next week.
All right, with that, that opens us to the next item, which is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. President, I would make a motion to accept the consent agenda as noted.
Do we have support?
I second.
We have a motion, we have support. Do we have further comments?
Councilor Gardner? We're voting
I'm sorry.
for the consent agenda. I went out of order.
Okay, that's right.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jeez.
Yes.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes.
So I gotta pick things up.
Right, that takes us up to old business. And our first item is ordinance 1967, which deals with stop signs.
The council had first read on this at their last regular meeting. This puts new stop signs in at 6 different locations, and it also reduces the speed limit on Franlin from 35 miles an hour to 25. This will have to be published, and once it's published, then it will go into effect. Assuming council passes it.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 1967 on second reading as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Further questions, comments? On ordinance 1967?
I would just like to reiterate my concerns from last meeting, regarding, setting up a metrics for these type of, requests from the town. I think it's important that we look at a variety of issues that, that we did in the past with regards to traffic counts, accidents in the areas, among, other stop signs at the, intersections. I think there's a list of metrics that we could be using so we don't get additional requests, or that our requests are all looking at the same types of items. Within here, we have quite a range of traffic counts. Some of them average 900 cars per day. Other roads here average 100 cars per day. And I just am concerned that we have a consistent method of reviewing and either approving or denying these in the future.
Thank you, Councilor Gardner. Any other comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to new business. We have a lease amendment with our T-Mobile and cell towers.
Yes, so we originally had a lease with Sprint to put their equipment on one of our water towers. Sprint and T-Mobile merged in 2020, but the lease still lists all of Sprint's information. And so we're wanting to get it so that it's accurate for whose equipment is actually there and where it's located. It doesn't change any of the terms of the agreement. It's simply making it match what is actually happening on that tower.
Mr. President, I would make a motion to approve the First Amendment to the lease agreement with T-Mobile as presented.
Do we have support?
I second.
Support. Any further questions, comments? Sounds like this really is a housekeeping item, which is what we should do to keep everything straight and organized. Please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. Item B is the annual fountain winterization, routine maintenance and storage of our pond fountains.
That pretty much sums up what it is. So we have 17 fountains across various subdivisions, and then 3 out at Centennial Park. We do this every year. They'll come in, they'll remove them, do whatever maintenance is needed, store them for the winter, and then they'll bring them back, reinstall them in the spring.
It's a big job. And they also do a good job keeping the ponds clear and free of most algae.
Mr. President, I would make a motion to approve the 2 attached aquatic control proposals dated 9/6/24 for 2024 fountain winter removal, maintenance and storage, and 2025 spring installation in the amount of $2,118 for the quotation number 400645, and in the amount of $7,368 for quotation 400639. I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Further questions, comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item C. It's a proposal for signal timing on Calumet Avenue.
This is from the engineering firm SEH, and they gave a presentation to council. This is to collect data and determine what is the optimal signal timing on Calumet Avenue from River Drive to Main Street, every intersection. The last time this was done was decades ago, I think.
Long time.
A very long time ago, there have been additional traffic intersection signals put in. But the whole work would be done within 3 months of when they are given the notice to proceed.
Do we have support for this?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the supplement letter agreement with it from SEH to perform Calumet Avenue intersection signal retiming at a cost of $75,200. And I'll second.
We have support. Any further comments, questions? I want to mention that this is timing the lights with respect to each intersection. It's not a case of where if you start at one point and at the right speed, you'll get all green lights. For sure, we have some trouble at Ridge and Calumet. We do have an exceptional number of cars. And again, this is something that's important so that you have each of the vehicle sections and lanes running, that they have the proper amount of time. And looking at what recommendations might be for stack up. No other comments? Please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. Item D is contract extension with Humane Indiana.
The town works with Humane Indiana for stray animals. It's one of the options that the police department has, depending on the situation. That contract has come to an end and they're looking to renew it for another 2 years. There is a slight increase in the cost per animal for the intakes. Police has reviewed it. They've talked with people at Humane Indiana as well, and they're recommending that you go ahead and renew the contract.
Do we have a motion?
I'd like the motion to authorize the police department and the town of Munster to renew the contract with Humane Indiana.
We have support?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item E. It's the Kenmara NIPSCO easement.
So the town has a development agreement with the Kenmare project. And one of the components of it is to work with them to get an easement from NIPSCO. They will, once the easement is granted, then the Kenmare folks can build their road. The road will ultimately get dedicated back to the town. Under the terms of the agreement, we need to approve this easement and the deed that goes along with it. You approve the form of the deed back earlier over the summer. This is just the final step with that part.
Do we have support?
Mr. President, I would make a motion to approve the NIPSCO warranty deed as presented.
I second that.
Motion, we have a second. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. It takes us up to section 4. Any reports? No reports. How about portfolio reports? No reports. Announcements, all town council meetings will begin at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. Our next regularly council meeting will be November 7th, and that's a shift to a Thursday due to elections on Tuesday. And our regular development commission will follow. Looking for an adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. That takes us up to our redevelopment commission meeting. Call that to order. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Schinkin.
Here.
Commissioner Hopper.
Here.
Commissioner Gardner.
Present.
Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Nellens.
Present.
And our liaison to the school board, Mr. John Castro. Nice to see
Hello,
you.
nice to see you all. Good. Oh, yeah.
We have an open to the public session here in the redevelopment commission. Comment is limited to 2 minutes with a total of 20 minutes allotted for the public. All speakers must sign in on the public speaker sign-in form. Prior to speaking, please keep all comments civil and constructive and related to public policy. At their discretion, the council may allow comment to extend beyond 20 minutes, but it is not required to do so. All rules for this open to the public session is posted on the outside. Is there anyone that'd like to come forward in the open to the public session for redevelopment commission? Is there anyone that would like to come forward in the redevelopment commission tonight in the open to the public session? Seeing no one, will close the open to the public session. That takes us to the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I would make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, any further questions, comments on the consent agenda? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Schinkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Hopper.
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Nellens.
Yes. We have no old business, no new business, any reports, announcements, looking for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned. All right.
Campaign.
Bob, how you doing? Good. Nice to meet you. Hey, Bob. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Look forward to working with you.
You ever,
I did not keep cards.
you give me phone?
I'm sure. It's nice to imagine, right? It is nice to imagine. That's supposed to be there.
Time to time, I see. Stretches in the morning, you guys going?
Yeah, sorry. It all balances out. It really will. It all balances out. All right, I appreciate it. I'll leave that. Best of luck.
I'm gonna be seeing Chris from Jorgensen on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
I'll rub it in.
Oh, I didn't get to know him real well, but yeah, he's nice. All right, thank you. Once again. Take care. Thank you.
You love softballs, man.
You want them instead of me there? Yeah, that also sounds. Yeah.